All right. We are back in the studio, back in the lab. Uh, what's up, everyone? Episode 002. Welcome back to Love and Golf, a podcast about our romantic, passionate, and sometimes twisted love affair with the game and the valuable lessons it's given us and what we give back to it. Before I introduce my first guest, who's very special to me, I want to take you on a little mental journey. So imagine this. You're a teenager experiencing adversity, growing pains, feeling lost, not welcomed in the world, being challenged with identity issues and family matters, all causing depression and anxiety in those youthful, formative years. On top of that, imagine going to high school and being the subject of bullying, and now that's just the icing on the cake. Many teens in this situation would turn to drugs, alcohol, other distractive substances that numb the pain of a challenging reality. Not this man, not who I'm about to introduce. My first guest, Steve Moskowitz, is very special to me. Steve is a very successful entrepreneur. He's the co-founder and principal of Ivory Cloud, a technology and management consultancy. He has worked with some of the most prestigious organizations around the world, ranging from Fortune 500 companies like Miller Coors and Under Armour to government agencies like the U.S. Department of Energy and others that shall remain nameless. Steve has recently taken his talents to the golf world, co-founding MULLIE Golf. Bravo. Golf clap. More impressive than his professional accolades, Steve is a devoted father and husband, amazing family man, dedicated philanthropist, and a respectable 6.5 index, which is iffy.
Steve is a
yeah, we don't know. We're gonna fact check that.
My bad. Get back to the flow.
No, Steve, I'll close it out. So Steve is a remarkable human. I can say this. I can only say this because I've known the guy for 25 plus years. He is my cousin, one of my best friends, and yes, my business partner in MULLIE. But before Steve was earning awards and all of his professional achievements, he, like many of us, had moments of grief, pain, and depression. Rather than ignore them, in these moments of pain, he used his love for life, love for golf, and the game to find his purpose. So, with all that said, it is my great pleasure to introduce one of the closest people to me in my life, Steve. Cuz, welcome to the show.
I appreciate that. I feel like I just got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or something.
Oh man, I don't even know where to really start with this one. But before we kind of talk about MULLIE and what that's mean to you and your life and to our relationship, everything, I think I just want to kind of kick everything off. I mean, can you take us back to the first time you found golf or it found you? You know, you mentioned struggles in our relationship. I've heard you talk about some struggles as a teenager and how you found the game. Can you kind of catch everyone up on that story?
Yeah, man, we're jumping in the deep end with weighted boots, I think. All right. So yeah, I was a teenager, probably 15, 16, when one of my best friends really found golf and got into it. All of a sudden, like where we were hanging out after school, playing football, basketball, whatever we were doing, he disappeared for like an entire 6 months. And it wasn't until I asked him, like, where do you go every day? Like, what is this thing that's got you? And he's like, oh, it's golf. And I'm like, golf is for losers. Like, nobody plays golf. Like, it is the mid 90s. I mean, skateboarding was all the rage. And the very first time I picked up a golf club, this kid was a stick too. Like in 6 months was a scratch golfer, like just one of those natural phenoms. And his dad had put up a net in the basement, and he showed me the basics. Was really the first time I interacted with golf. But that wasn't when I found golf, I think, or when golf found me. Doing that for an off season, like during the winter after school and whatever. My parents split up about that same time, maybe a little before that, and I think I'm what you would call a troubled youth. Smoking Winston 100s at 13 or 14 years old. Like little Mike going through my pyromania phase, and generally being a vandal in the neighborhood and irritating all my neighbors and my parents. That I got. It wasn't until like one day my mom looked at me. It was my 16th birthday, and she's like, "What do you want to do? Like it's a big day." And I said, "I want to go to the driving range." And I never hit a ball outside. I had never hit a ball outside of the net and into a net, and so I didn't have any concept for like what it was like after leaving the club face. And I'll never forget, like it was the tee box was like on an elevated hill, and then there was a big valley, and then up on the other side was and I hit that ball into the night sky for the first time, and I was hooked.
Yeah.
I mean, just like one hit, boom, it sliced 8,000 yards to the right, like over the net onto the highway. I think I caused a car crash. But it was love it first contact, love at first sight. I mean, in all honesty.
Yeah.
And then from there, it really was, it kind of grew and evolved into my escape. It was how I got away from the troubles at home. It consumed my time. So for things that because I loved it so much, I wanted to spend time doing it. And instead of me, wandering around vandalizing the neighborhood, or lighting things on fire or smoking cigarettes, I'd go to the golf course. I'd go to the driving range, and I would hit balls. I would, meet friends. And obviously, as anybody takes their journey with golf, you begin to understand that golf is more than a game.
Yeah.
To me, it really became a code for who I am in life. Be where character is everything, because it's a self-recorded sport. So you can cheat if you want to, but you realize pretty quickly, like, hey, I'm really only cheating myself. And I
Yeah.
think that transitioned very quickly, into changing who I was as a human being. Like within 6 months, I was off all that stuff and just trying to be a better person. And that continue. I'm 42 at this point. That continues to this day. Of me, even in my businesses with MULLIE, my interpersonal relationships with you and with the other folks who I hold so dear, being that the understanding what good character is,
Mhm.
and what it's not, and practicing that on a daily basis, all stems from golf. So I owe it a lot.
That's really great. Somebody powerful too, because someone told me recently that, and tell me how this translates to you in your life, or you can take it or leave it. But they said to me that golf, like how you play golf, is how you play life. Like if you're cheating on the golf course, if you're kicking the ball, if you're doing things, you're probably cheating in life. So I don't know how
Yeah,
how
yeah. I do think it's 1-to-1, in terms of not necessarily how you play the game, because immediately I'm thinking about all of those like short-sighted pins that I try to hit flop shots into, like, or I got like 210, I got to carry the water and land it 3 feet.
yeah.
I'm not taking, I take risky shots on the golf course. I'm a pretty risk averse guy in person,
Yeah.
but I definitely think who you are as a golfer is who you are in life, and who you are in life is translates to who you are as a golfer.
Well, I got to thank you for being my first guest here, because you helped me cut my teeth and bring on some really great people down the line. But I think it's great because I know you on so many levels, and I know some of the intricacies of your life and some of the recent events that have happened. And I'm just curious. And a lot of we don't have to get into this too many details, but obviously I know. Life isn't perfect, right? And you've always told me that it's just this ongoing battle. You're going to get beat down. You got to pick yourself back up. I don't know. Can you kind of give me, like everyone listening, an example of where you've gotten beaten down, and maybe how is golf, how is like the principles or the lessons you've taken from golf helped you get back up? Because it's not always easy to get back up. I'll be honest. I've been there.
Yeah, I mean, we get into pain and failure here pretty quickly, which is what golf is. When you go out there and you don't play to your potential, you walk away feeling, disheartened. Thankfully, for whatever reason on 18, there's always that one shot that everybody has. They're like, I knew I could do it. I'm coming back, baby. Um, yeah, wow. I mean, so many places throughout my life, from like the mundane, like going into college. I wasn't a very good student. I had, not to get super nerdy, but like had applied to for an officer position in a club that I was volunteering for, and didn't get it, largely because of the person I was. That crushed me, at the time, being a 20-year-old, who's self-important and really thought they deserved it. Golf, the perseverance that I learned in golf really helped me rebound from that, and realize, hey, I can always tee it back up. I can always try again. Got passed over for a promotion at work at one of my first jobs, which I really felt I deserved at the time. Again, for more, I would say, how I was engaging with the people around me. And so again, the perseverance, like, you got to roll with the punches, like, and you got to have a short memory, was what I remember thinking then. Like, okay, well, there's another opportunity to do this in 6 months. Let me really gather and hear what it is I need to do, and put my focus on that. So, not unlike golf, if your short game sucks and it's costing you, 6 shots around, going to practice putting or chipping, like, so you're shaving those shots, and doing just the small things, really helped. to, really deeply personal stuff, that I don't want to go too deep into, but, my wife and I had problems, having children, and that ran the gamut from, really run of the mill stuff that everybody suffers with to really, really brutally painful stuff. But again, it's, you have to get back up. You have to manage your emotions. That's what I remember golf teaching me. And at that point was, I can't just let my emotions run roughshod. It has the ability to take down the rest of your life. And that's analogous to what happens in golf. You have a bad hole, like, or you lose a match that you're not out of the tournament yet. You don't have the day you wanted to. Like, you can't let your emotions get the best of you if you're going to find a way to stay focused and achieve the outcome you want. So many times in life, I've relied on those lessons.
Yeah, man, that's beautifully said. I think I've obviously I'm part of your family. I've known about struggles and everything that's happened in your life. To focus on the positive, there is a little man in your world. You have a son who is
I do.
I'm cousin Uncle Mike, which is one of the coolest titles I've ever had in my life. He's such a remarkable human being, and I think how you parent him is amazing. And I've only been able to see this because I've spent so much time with you and Gina and Ethan, your son. There's a patience that you have that I got to say, I see it in work with MULLIE all the time, but more in a more personal manner, I see it with you and how you're a father, and it's so spectacular. I don't know if there's a parallel here or a bridge you can make from golf and that
Oh
and that,
yeah.
but
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I'd love for you to talk on that because, man, like as someone who I struggle with patience, like everyone listening, I mean, if you don't know me, if you do know me, but like patience is not one of the things that I'm strong. It's a constant work and effort of mine. It has to be. But Steve, it seems like it comes easy for you. So I don't know how you can talk about that, but I would love to learn.
I appreciate you saying all the things you just said, about me as a dad, about me as a business person, and about your willingness to learn. That
You guys,
heart.
hold on. I don't want to get twisted. There's sometimes I actually want to strangle him, and I'm sure he wants to strangle
Oh,
me.
100,
So
100,
so so let,
100%.
let's just set the record very straight that still exists. Okay, but please.
I think it's a lot of the ground I've already covered. I'm not a patient person by nature. Like you. I think this runs in our family. I'm a fiery, emotional person. I want to do nothing more than lash out at people when things don't go my way, or when they're letting me down, or they've let the team down, or whatever it is. And my kid's no exception. He has a special kind of he's a special kind of trying on my patience. But I think I've learned in life, I think through all of those experiences I've talked about, and then leveraging the lessons I've learned from golf, that doesn't really get you anywhere. Being emotional about things that have happened or are happening that you don't control is kind of pointless. It's a waste of energy. I think I'd much rather channel that energy into something productive. And I've literally spent a lifetime, and that goes for golf too. I mean, it stems from golf. Like, oh,
Yeah.
all right, I just missed that 3 foot putt to close this guy out, or to win some money, or to win my member guest, or whatever it is. Like, I got to channel that energy into something productive, into that next shot. I'm going to hit it further. I'm going to I'm going to focus a little harder. Like, it's all that same dynamic of where you put your energy. And I think
Yeah.
patience is, it's so counter to the fire that burns within me. Like, it's like judo. It's almost like using the energy that's moving in one direction and redirecting it seamlessly into another. That's a lifelong pursuit that I think golf has taught me. I want to say one more thing. You had said something a minute ago about the person you are on the golf course is the person you are in life. You are absolutely an emotional golfer, without question. I mean, your patience on the golf course is like zero. It's like, I can hit that shot. Like, I can't believe it. Your golf persona absolutely translates to your real life persona, without question.
It's a work in progress. Okay, guys. I mean, look, I'm not
for
perfect
for
either.
for all for all of
Yeah.
us. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why, I mean, even the Stoics say control what you can control. And the funny part of, we all think in life we're in so much control of like other people or outcomes in work or even the golf shot we hit. I mean, there's, granted, our physical action is somewhat in our control, but we're not in control of like the wind or any other, variables in the atmosphere that impact our golf
If
shot.
there's a
Right.
if
So,
there's a sprinkler head that
right.
completely bones you and tops your ball over the green, yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I agree with you. I mean, I think golf has been a huge one-to-one learning lesson. It's like a mirror, right? It allows me to see myself after the round, right? So I'll be able to look at my round like, oh wait, I blew up this hole maybe because I wasn't present or wasn't focused. I was thinking about my shot in the last hole. Just like life, I
Yeah.
think whenever we aren't present in that moment of our work, of our relationships, of our pursuit of purpose, whenever we're distracted by the past or the future, we're missing out on this moment, and B, we kind of lose the moment, right? We fumble the moment. So
Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons I've worked so hard at it, and you've worked so hard at trying to get a harness on those things in the moment. Because like looking back, and you're as good of you're the best at this in my entire life. Like you're the most self-aware person that I know, and
thank
the
you.
way you're able to like just quickly synthesize like what happened and where did I go off the rails, and what am I going to do to not do that again, is incredible to me. So doing it in hindsight, I think is one thing, but the what we both pursue is the ability to do that in the moment. And like, oh God,
Absolutely.
I just spun out, or I'm spinning out. Like, how do I stop this? Or you know what, I'm going to finish my spin out, but I got to come back to this. Like, don't let the moment or the opportunity pass you by to look back at it. Try to correct it. Then
Right.
is really again what another thing golf has to teach, because you blow up on the third hole, it can sink your round if you don't get your head around. I got to put that behind me. I got to let that go, and I got to use that reuse that energy into trying to make up that ground, or not
Yeah.
let my mistake compound my mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've covered kind of how you found the game in a trouble, we'll call it troubled childhood. It kind of poked its head in. You hit that ball into the night sky, and like many of us after that first shot, it's like whoa, like it's like an infection. It's like, oh my gosh, I could
Oh
do this.
yeah.
And then we find it and we dive into it. I mean, you're a gearhead. That's a whole other conversation. You love the trade. You love the collecting. I'm glad we're not in your home office to see all your Scotty Camerons, which will make most people just smile. Um,
Or
but
vomit.
we're getting your vomit, yeah, that. But getting into what the game is giving you. So not only did it give you kind of like a way of being and finding yourself and your personality, has it had an impact on your professional life in starting your businesses? I know you were working when you're a product of Accenture, right? You worked at Accenture, you worked at other really big firms, but to go out on your own, to find that courage, because I'm sure a lot of people listening maybe have that same moment of I'm working for somebody. I may not like it. I didn't get that promotion like you said. I maybe want to go out on my own. Before we kind of dive in, I want to segue this into MULLIE and how how we started, what your contribution is to it, and what the power in golf and what you want to give back to it. But what advice can you give someone that's a golfer that shares that mentality, that understands the values that the game has, maybe kind of in your position, struggling at work or wanting to find the courage to go out on their own?
Wow. Hmm. Um, wow. Yeah, I think you know me well enough to know I'm
Guys,
seldom at a loss for words.
this never happens right now. So I'm like, my mind's blown also.
Wow. I think
And maybe
in
it
terms
doesn't,
of
man.
just
Honestly, like for me, just to help you bridge that gap in your mind, because I've thought a lot about this. There's and like you said, right, the one to one of golfing and then my personality is like I love going for the sucker pins. I just love it. I really I want to cut the corner. I don't know if doing it and failing so many times and having to make double bogey, but doing that one or two times like really creates that career round of 69. I'm like the career round kind of guy. I love creating magic. I love creating things. I don't know if it's the same for you. I don't know if like anything on the golf course or the personality that golf's helped you identify with has helped you go for it. But man, I'll speak on your behalf. I, bro, I'm everyone's hearing this publicly. I've told you this. I'm a huge fan of yours. I think the way you show up in the world with your confidence and grace and humility, and you just execute. I think if you look at your life and what you've been able to provide to your family and yourself, the life you've created, everyone can't see it. It's pretty extraordinary. And I think you've manifested that, but also you've really worked hard for it. So, is there a parallel to the golf space, to your golf game, to what you've learned in golf that you can apply?
certainly little things I've learned in golf, I've applied endlessly, relentlessly, and there's new ones every day. But I don't think golf was my experience and relationship with golf did not lead to me starting a business other than MULLIE. I mean, just because I love golf, but I think it actually went the other way. I've leveraged those lessons in the businesses I've started. I'm a sucker pin guy too, because whatever, it only takes one. You only need one swing for greatness. Uh, but like I said, in life, I'm much more methodical. And I think if I played golf, like I approach work, I think I'd kill myself. It would just be the most boring thing in the entire world. Uh, or I would fail spectacularly. Like I couldn't do it. No is the answer to your question. One didn't have golf had more to do with me handling what happens in business than it did as the impetus for me to go out and do it. But what I would say to people who are going to go out and do it is rely on those lessons. If you are committed to grinding on the golf course and getting better, like I've done over the last however many 25 years at this point, and like people do over a lifetime, and all the emotion that comes with that, all of the setbacks that come with that, they all have direct parallels to what's going to happen to you, not just in business, but in life. I mean, life is going to kick you in the teeth. You're going to fail at a lot. And it's really what you do with that failure and how you show up afterwards and how you apply the lessons that you've learned from that, that I think will define success in business and on the golf course and for you as a person. It's the same formula all the way throughout, I think.
Yeah, and you got a tattoo recently, first ever at that 42 years old.
I did.
Most start at 18, maybe ish, and then grow their collection. You get your first one at 42, which is Latin. It's what is it? Militare vivat. What is it? Please say it.
Vivere militare est, which is to live is to fight.
Yeah. So I mean, live to fight and work, live to fight in golf, live to fight. Just living is fighting. I mean, it's a battle no matter where you go. So you're always fighting. Well, okay, so let's now segue perfectly into MULLIE because I definitely want you to touch on that. Obviously, we talk about it every single day.
The best
you and
app
I
on
both,
the planet, baby.
The best marketplace on the planet, best technology. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I guess like shameless, selfless plug.
How many times did you say I had to say? How many times did I have to say MULLIE? What was your number?
I think it was 5,000. We're a little bit short. We got to pick it up.
Okay.
But obviously we talk about it every day. We're probably on version iteration 25. We're on really 1.5 now. But more importantly than what we're doing, like I think everybody can be can learn something or be inspired by why you're doing it. Right. What's funny is because we've done this exercise of why does MULLIE exist? But I have my own unique why as to why I'm doing it, and you have your own unique why as to why you're doing it. I would love for you to share like why, because we came up with this idea years ago. It's been years of just chinking away, refining a concept, developing a prototype before we even got to market. So, when I came to you and we put our heads together 3-4 years ago, what was it about the idea, and then why did you choose to do it?
Yeah, I could talk to you endlessly about all the reasons why the golf marketplace meaning golf industry is broken. I could talk to you endlessly about how segmented it is and how hard to navigate it is and how it's really hard. It's really difficult to get into golf. It's really difficult to meet other people to play golf with. It's really expensive. It's really exclusive. There's just so many things that are broken with golf, considering the good it's given me and the good it's given you. But I think what excited me about the concept was finding a way to, again, very cliche, to give more people more golf. And when I really started to peel the onion back on what that meant to me, which means something different to everybody, it was I got to the barriers. I remember how hard it was for me to to get into golf, to afford my first set of clubs, to find a place to play that didn't charge me by the round, right? Like find a junior membership at some club for a couple $100 a year, that would give me the community that I was looking for. And I think that's what really excited me about MULLIE, was the ability to do that for somebody else. And then I think peeling that back even further was the number of times I remember not being able to play golf when I really wanted to. And it wasn't for, lack of access, right? I found a club near me that had a junior membership and I could play as unlimited, or the Dunlop Neutron irons that I had, growing up, full bag from Costco.
Classic.
For $199, graphite shafts. Cavities this big. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was the fact that honestly, I couldn't, like I said, troubled childhood divorce. I didn't have money to buy golf balls. I straight up couldn't afford gloves, couldn't afford tees, couldn't afford balls. And so when we started thinking through like how can MULLIE be the answer to that, or how can we create a business to answer that, and to prevent that from happening again. I think that was all the reason, the rationale, the impetus for getting into MULLIE, and I think is, at least for me, continues to drive me forward in getting this to the place where we want to bring it, so it can be that community. It can ease that access. It can help people continue to afford to play the game, through all of the different offerings and programs that we provide.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, in starting MULLIE with you and some of the people we've met from the PGA Championship, in Tulsa, and watching those kids feel golf for the first time, and just the people we met at the shows, and just in being in the industry. It's funny to me that everybody has a unique story of how they found the game. Like for you, it was that moment of that in the sky ball. For me, it was time with my dad and what that meant to me. Everyone has a unique story, but it's so funny that the common denominator is is the infection. Is like once it's in there, it's in there. It hooks in and it's there. And then we obviously all learn a unique personality trait from the game, and its grace and the honesty and everything. I think we all get that. But how we get there is so unique, and that's part of wanting to do this podcast is consolidate and tell those stories. And I think from that, everyone gives a gift back. Like once you have it, once you take it on, once you've acknowledged, oh my God, I am because of this, because of golf, we give it back, right? And I think a lot of what we're doing, I say we, is because MULLIE is ours, and we've only scratched the surface. The no seller fees help, the reduced costs here and there, but we are just scratching the surface of what MULLIE is going to do in the game. And I know a lot of, I mentioned this on my introduction episode of, the giving golf program, the golf balls for every transaction throughout the year of 2023 and beyond, for every transaction, no matter how big or small, whether it's a pack of tees for $1 or a limited edition Scotty for $5,000, we're going to be donating golf balls to municipal courses so that they can hand them out to kids. Now, I say that to say, because you're the brainchild of that initiative, because of your struggle to find balls, because you were in the weeds, in the bushes, trying to find golf balls as a kid.
Have you ever seen a snapping turtle, like a full-grown snapping turtle in real life? Have you?
I don't think I have.
They are. I mean, I'm 6 feet tall, and fully grown are the size of my entire torso, with literally jaws that can bite through bone. Right? I was 16. I mean, what did I know? I had no idea that those creatures existed or that I was swimming with them. But I would literally go to that golf course that I belonged to. I drive down there at 9, 10 o'clock at night after the staff had cleared out. Number 9 was near the clubhouse and was a par 3 over the water. And I would literally strip down to my boxers, and I would go diving into the lake, sifting through the muck, throwing out golf balls by the dozens. Because I couldn't, if I didn't do that, I couldn't afford to play. And I'd take them out, put them in a bucket, take them home, go clean my clothes, literally go into my bathtub with a scrub brush and scrub these balls clean so they looked new, because I didn't want my friends knowing that I was doing this, because that would have been just shameful, to a 16-year-old kid. All to keep playing. And I guess looking back at that, like the snapping turtle, it could have bit my pinky toe off, and you know what I mean? I didn't know that at the time, but all to pursue this love, because I felt at the time I was learning, I was growing as a result of it. And I think in part, maybe that's what I was addicted to. And that's why I was willing to go do things like that to do this. But that's ridiculous. Like no kid who has that same feeling and who can emerge a better person as they move with golf through life should ever have to struggle for the resources to do that. And so as I look back, going back to 16-year-old me, if I could give a kid a gift, it would be never get in a lake with a snapping turtle. Just don't do it. Here's some golf balls, kid. Go have fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. And I don't think anyone who wants to play, there's so many programs out there for other sports to get involved with the game. Just historically, golf's been so expensive. It just is. So I love that we're doing this. I love that you had the idea. You used your pain and your purpose of your past to create this opportunity for other people. I think that's why we're all here on this planet. And I for one love you for that. And I think a lot of kids that will be getting on the receiving end, the recipients of these balls, I feel like they're going to be really grateful and blessed that you had this experience to really bring this to fruition. So All right. So last couple sound bites here. I want to create everlasting memories for all of us and all the listeners. Um, you just mentioned if you could go back in time, or you could give advice to your 6-year-old self. Rather than do that, I want you to stand in the place of Steve Moskowitz, the dad, and Ethan, your son, has not played golf, doesn't want to play golf. I mean, I don't know if it's true or false, but like let's just say, what would be the advice that you would give young Ethan, right, about the game and what it can do for him in his life? Because maybe there are other fathers out there that want to get their kids in the game, their daughters or sons who haven't really taken a liking yet. Like, what's something that you would say, like, golf is what? Golf is a conduit, or golf is a medium, like what, or just not say anything at all, let him find it.
Wow. I mean, everything I've said today, I think would be relevant to him at some point in his life. Um, whenever he decides to discover the game, I've tried, we bring him out and he'll, putt the balls in the hole from 8 inches away. And he likes driving the golf cart and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I, I think because for me, it was like a lightning bolt out of the blue. My parents don't play golf. My brother, nobody in my family plays golf. Just me, my wife sometimes, and not my kid yet. But I think I think I would let him discover it on his own. He knows I have a passion for it. I mean, to hear him say the word Mully is awesome. He's like, "Daddy, are you going to work today?" I said, yeah. He goes, "Are you going to work on Mully?" And I'm like, "Oh, that just warms my heart so much." He's gonna find it at some point. And I think I would actually leave him alone because it's the self-discovery aspect of it was so important to me. It was so formative. If somebody had handed it to me and said, "Hey, this could be really great for you," like everything in my life, I'm like, whatever. It's not going to be good for me. I don't care what you say. Steve, don't touch the stove. It's really hot. I'm like, whatever. It's not that, oh my God, it's really hot, right? I kind of feel like there's an aspect of this to that too. So he's definitely me in that sense. And I think he has to find it on his own. So he knows it's important to me. He has access to it, which is the greatest privilege in the world, other than like hot water and air conditioning and grocery stores. I hope he finds it on his own. And when he's ready to have that conversation, if he goes to give up on it or something along those lines, I think is where the story can come in, and I can share something like this medium with him or this episode with him and let him know what it meant to me and where I was in life and what have you.
Yeah, man, I think that's powerful. And like there is that magic, that unique magic that when we find it, or like I think a lot of people say, it found us, right? Like we didn't go out searching for golf. It literally was like, bam, it's just slap in the face, So I think that's powerful. And I'll just recap because again, I think the purpose of me wanting to tell these stories, everybody, is because we all have this unique love affair with it. It's a possession that we have inside of our being that just it's beautiful, it's crazy, but more than what it's given us, it's like what we give back to it. So Steve, you're the perfect first guest in my opinion, because literally the pain that golf was, the price points of golf, the balls, the clubs, that was really a lot of what we've massaged into Mully and why Mully exists in the world. And it's I know I can speak on behalf of both of us. It's our goal for Mully to solve some of that financial stress on people. That is really why we drop the price points of no seller fees, right? So people can drop the price points. So everyone listening, I think that, Steve, while it's our brainchild and our project, I think a lot of what your past pain has the solution to your pain has been injected into this solution, this tech solution. So I appreciate it. Before I let you go, though, you can't get off the hook. This is my favorite question to ask everybody before I let everybody go now. So because we are a golf platform, a marketplace for new, used, everything, and eventually more stuff to come. So do you remember that first memory of the club that you first got? Was it the Dunlops? Or because I wanted, like, what's that first club that you were just purely smitten with, that you purchased, that wasn't really given to you? Like, that was that first one.
Holy cow. I know exactly what club it is. And I thought I was on, I should say my first Scotty Cameron, right? Because I worked a summer job and in 1997, bought my first Scotty Cameron, Coronado, gunmetal blue, still have it, grip from the 90, like hard as a rock. The hardest putter to ever putt with. That's not the club. But it should be the club. The very first club I remember being super jazzed about. So I bought those Dunlops at Costco. They were $150 or whatever for the full set. Putter, bag, no stand, like just 3 metal woods. And I remember wanting to replace my driver. And so I was wandering through, it was Price Club at the time, Costco now. And oh no, it wasn't. It was Sports Authority. I was wandering through Sports Authority in the golf section. And, I'm looking at like the Burner Bubbles and the Callaway, the Great Big Bertha, which was like the first titanium club that Callaway had offered. And I come across this club for $49, and it's a brand name, and it's a Max Fly driver. And I thought I won the lottery. I'm like, Max Fly in the 90s, I think, is different than the company that it is now. I don't even think they make clubs anymore. But I thought it was like marked down from like $99. And I was like, this has to be a pricing error. Like, there's no way that they're selling this club for, 50 or 75% off. Like,
Yeah.
And I scooped it up and I ran up to my dad or my mom at the time, or my mom at the time, when my mom I was like, I have $50 in my bank account. I don't have it here, but like, if I give it to you, can you buy this for me? Like, this is the greatest driver on the planet. And I had the Max Fly head cover, and I'm pimping it, and I'm showing people are hitting it on the driving range, and they're just having a great time. Like, we're sharing in that experience. I'm going to have to go find that driver again. I mean, I know like vintage stuff is coming back, but it was, I guess it was their answer to the original Big Bertha, but that was the club.
Yeah. Oh, I love that
driver.
answer.
10.5 degree.
I love it.
Oh. Steel shaft.
God, I hope you guys can actually watch this too and not just listen, because the excitement, the pure joy on your face. That's why we're doing this, y'all. Like, I want to be that we like. What did you got it where at Sports Authority, right? I can't remember the last time I was in a brick and mortar or anything. Hopefully we can give that same experience to somebody on MULLIE on the internet and have them find the club that they want. So. Any other parting words, my friend? I mean, dude, I love you with all my heart. I think what you're doing in your life is so powerful. And as a father, you're powerful. Your golf game could use some work, I mean, that's neither here nor there, but, I just want any last parting words or gifts to the audience.
Yeah, a couple of things. Number one.
I don't think so. I'm still going.
Oh, all right. My camera just blanked out. Can you still see me?
I can't see you, but I can hear you though. At the key moment of takeaways. I love that.
Edit that out.
Okay.
We'll get this in post. Don't worry about it.
Perfect.
I forgot where I was going.
The last two takeaways. You said two powerful notes for everybody.
I don't remember what the first one was. Maybe it'll come to me. I want to say Mike, to you, like, I just appreciate you so much. I'll say this publicly also, so you can play it back to me when we're strangling each other on conference calls. You're similar to you, the way you show up in the world, and you're an inspiration to me for how you are just like endlessly working on your craft, working on MULLIE. Like, it is just so inspiring to see your perseverance here. You just never quit, and you keep going, and your creativity is absolutely amazing and outstanding. And I think you want the very best for golf, and for what it can represent. And I think I do too. So, you're my partner, you're my brother, you're my cousin, uncle, or Ethan's cousin uncle. You're so many things to me. I just want to say I appreciate you on every one of those levels.
Thank you doesn't even begin to cut it, dude. I love you, and I feel the same way about you, and I just appreciate that. And you better believe I'm going to snip this audio out just to play it every time I see you, so you don't forget.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're going to start every meeting with it from now on.
Well, man,
it's our moment of zen.
It really is. You guys, everyone gets a feel for the company we're building and the love that's in this thing. And like I said, if you have any words for Steve, you can find Steve not on Instagram, because even though he's on there, he's not on there. You can feel free to DM any questions you have to Steve to MULLIE Golf. We definitely check our DMs all the time. So if you have any questions for him, please DM us at MULLIE Golf on Instagram. And like I said, Steve, I appreciate you, man. I think what you're doing for the community is very powerful. And I appreciate you being my first guest. It's been awesome.
I appreciate it, Mike, and keep it up. And obviously, go MULLIE.
Go MULLIE.
We're going to change golf.
We are. All right. Well, I love you, man. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.